Hey there, friends and family. This is Dan. I'm here with the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast. It is episode 47. It is also April 20th, 2025. 420, blaze it. Joined here by my stoned co-host, Adam.
Hey, Ian, I'm so high right now. What's up, everybody? It is me, Adam. How's it going, Dan?
It's going okay, Adam. There's no one outside immediately mowing, although I did hear them recently. Now there's a guy taking out large dumpsters. If I was listening to a record, it would be shaking the ground, and I'd hear it. We're joined by a special guest here today. A very special guest. We should have talked about this beforehand. What should we call you, buddy? Do you have a name?
Yeah, my name's Jason, and I'm very excited to be here on this glorious 420 Easter Sunday episode. And you can just call me Mr. Jason.
You call me Jason. This is my buddy Jason. Hung out at his house last night, and we, with some friends, watched Deadly Prey and Tokyo Gore Police. He's a cool guy, and I'm glad to finally have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
That said, we got to get to know you. Oh, you go ahead.
Sorry about that. Whoa.
Jesus.
Weird space noises coming out. It's too much. Too much, man. I am very happy to be here, and both Deadly Prey and Tokyo Gore Police are just insane, very entertaining, good, bad movies. And it was fun.
Yeah, Adam doesn't know about that shit. He doesn't know shit about Deadly Prey from 1987 or whatever.
Damn.
That's a good one.
Call me out right up front. Yeah, that's right. I do not know.
Adam, what's your favorite Japanese movie?
My favorite Japanese movie? You know what? I really enjoyed... what was that one about the girls who went like at a summer camp? We watched it.
Summer camp.
I don't know.
Japanese summer camp.
There was like a head...
All about Lily Choo Choo?
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I will go with... Yeah, I like that movie. Yeah, I'm like, with that question, I'm like, damn, I don't watch a lot of Japanese movies. I guess I'm a little bit... what do they say? Ethnocentric? I'm like, I watch movies made by white men. It's my favorite kind of man.
God was having a little trouble with the people of Earth.
Yeah, you need to start watching some cinema, dog. Is that what you call? That's really racist, probably.
Yeah, I don't think it's called that.
Yeah.
For guests at home, there's an episode we haven't released where we did like a double feature of American Rickshaw and Big Trouble in Little China, two movies that exemplify yellow peril. It's a good movie, but it's still like kind of racist.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway, whatever, man. Whatever. Who cares about John Carpenter? Guy just got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You guys seen that?
I did see that, and I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, so good for him. Even though that may be meaningless to people.
Meaningless? Is it because everyone's a John Carpenter fan, you mean?
No. The Hollywood Walk of Fame thing, I don't know how meaningful that is for famous people to have one.
Well, yeah, seeing the Gal Gadot just got her star, so
she got one. I thought it was like vandalized immediately or something. It just reminds me of you've all seen you haven't seen The Substance. Adam hasn't seen The Substance. Never mind.
Oh wow, that's a good one. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that I'm like, oh, I should see that, and then I don't know what happens. You know, I just
don't pick them for the show.
I end up watching more episodes of The Vampire Diaries.
This guy's literally watching The Vampire Diaries.
I have to appease my 13-year-old niece. She'd be very disappointed.
What do you usually watch, Jason? I don't know. I went over to your place and it was like you and your wife seem literate in movies. Like obviously you would be, but I was surprised your wife was. Is she like? Why is she so into cult movies? Just because you are?
Probably. I mean, we've been together for a long, long time, and we have watched many, many movies together, and have seen a lot of fucked up shit on film together. So I really like horror movies, sci-fi, weird, surreal shit, and of course rom-coms. And she's into it too, which is nice. It would be hard to watch movies together if the other person didn't like the type of movies you watched. So I am thankful for that.
Yeah, I've never, like, stopped me in my tracks. I was like, I've never thought like a woman would bring up Ebola syndrome to me. I was like, what?
Yeah, she's
very cool.
I watch a lot of weird movies and we watch them together, and she's into it for the most part. There's some gore shit that she gets squeamish about, which is to be expected. But yeah, it's a good time usually.
Yeah, so does Adam. He hates gore. Even Tokyo Gore Police, he would have been like, oh my God, like the hand scene when they're chopping the hand up, he'd have been throwing up or something. This guy hasn't seen Saw.
Yeah. I mean, movies with a lot of gore in them are definitely an acquired taste. It's gross shit. And if you're the type of person that gets squeamish over the sight of blood in general, then these movies are not for you. You will not have a good time.
So that's Jason. He's a cult guy. He's a cult horror guy. I asked Adam a question. I'm gonna ask you the same question. What's your favorite Japanese movie?
I don't know if I've seen a whole lot of them, but there's a few that come to mind like right away. There's a movie called Tag. I think it's by Sion Sono. That is pretty cool. And then I'm not positive if it's Japanese.
I assume it is.
Because
that's
no,
the same guy
I'm
who
pretty
did
sure that one is.
Anti-porno.
Yeah, I'm sure that one is. But the other one that I'm thinking of, Versus, I'm not positive if that's Japanese or not. But that's a pretty fucking cool movie.
For the sake of this podcast, it is.
Okay, it's definitely Japanese, 100%.
Well, this is some off the beaten path picks. Maybe we'll cover those someday. You brought that up to me already before, so
yeah.
Tag.
Tag is definitely I would call a surreal movie. If you could put that label on any movie, that one would definitely work. It's also very.
We've
bloody.
only covered 2. We love blood on the podcast. Adam loves blood historically. We've only watched 2 Japanese movies on this podcast. One of them is not Adaptation, the movie we're going to be talking about today. So we've watched House. You know, Houseu, I think Americans like to call it.
That's a great movie. I really love that one.
It's my favorite. So that's my number one. Adam was mentioning it earlier, and I finally came to me. I was like, oh yeah, House. Yeah, House is like amazing. I'm still waiting for a 4K UHD. And on that episode, one of the fun facts about that movie is that it wasn't made available to Americans until like 2010 or 2009, which is like insane. People hadn't seen it really up until then. So yeah, give us a 4K. And then we also reviewed All About Lily Choo Choo. You seem like you didn't hear about that movie. Have you heard of All About Lily Choo Choo?
I have not heard about it. But I agree with you on House. I would love a 4K of that. That's an amazing movie. All About Lily Choo Choo, I'm definitely interested in, but I have not seen it yet.
I think at the time when it came out from OCN, I don't remember which label came out, maybe Connie. They put it out, and at the time, it was the highest rated movie on Letterboxd that OCN or Vinegar Syndrome had put out, I believe. It had a really high score, and we watched it, and our friend really wanted us to watch it. Joey, he's been on the podcast, and we gave it a middling score. So take of that what you will. Maybe we're just heathens. It's kind of like Kids. It's a little bit like Japanese Kids.
That's a good, it's a good parallel.
Anyway, folks, we're not talking about Japanese movies anymore. Okay, we're done. I don't even know much about Japanese films. We're here to talk about another movie. Adam, do you want to introduce that movie?
Oh, are you talking about some Adaptation from 2002?
She hates me. She's disappointed. I could see it in her eyes when we met. I've got to stop sweating. Oh, she looked at my hairline. She thinks I'm bald. She's thinking I would never in a million years sleep with this guy.
We think you're great.
Oh, thanks. Wow, that's nice to hear. Coffee would help me think. Coffee and a muffin. I'm going up to Santa Barbara this Saturday, and I was wondering...
Oh.
I'm sorry.
So I'll just be right back with your pie then.
Drum roll, please. I'm gonna be a screenwriter, like you.
I'm putting in a chase sequence. So the killer flees on horseback, cops after them on a motorcycle. And it's like a battle between motors and horses. Like technology versus horse.
Susan, we would really like to option this.
You want to make it into a movie?
I want to know what it feels like to care about something passionately. John LaRoche is a tall guy, sharply handsome.
The book has no story. There's no story. Make one up. Okay, we open with LaRoche. No, we open at the beginning of time. Okay, we open with LaRoche. Crazy white man. We open on Charlie Kaufman. Fat, bald, ugly, paces. I've written myself into my screenplay. That's kind of weird, huh?
I guess we thought that maybe Susan and LaRoche could fall in love.
I just don't want to ruin it by making it a Hollywood thing. It's like I don't want to cram in sex or guns or car chases or characters overcoming obstacles to succeed in the end. She's crying. What's she hiding from us? I think you actually need to speak to this woman to know her.
People find love, people lose it. Every day, someone somewhere takes a conscious decision to destroy someone else.
This is our last dance. This is our last dance. This is...
Who's gonna play me?
Oh, I'd like
I think I should play me.
Under pressure. Under pressure.
Yeah, there we go. That's the trailer. We watched Adaptation from 2002. This was directed by Spike Jonze, written by Charlie Kaufman. The reason we're all here. And let's see, what else do we know about this film? It stars Nicolas Cage. We got a little Meryl Streep in this. You got some Chris Cooper. And who else? We got Ron Livingston. Just a whole bunch of people in this movie that I love. I love Brian Cox. He shows up in it. Tilda Swinton, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Judy Greer, Jim Beaver. I mean, the list really does go on.
Jim Beaver. I was like, Bobby.
Yeah,
you guys seen Supernatural?
No.
Yeah.
I was
Love
just
that.
laughing at the name Jim Beaver. Sorry. I'm a 12-year-old boy.
Nah, it's good. We're all 12-year-olds here.
This premiered on December 3rd, 2002 in Los Angeles, California.
And so, I mean, just to break down, like, what is this movie? I mean, it's literally, I mean, it is an adaptation of the book, The Orchid Thief, written by Susan Orlean. I think that the article came out, I think, in 98. I'm a lot of that I'm pulling off the dome. It was a 90s, New Yorker piece that got turned into a novel. And then as we see in the movie, like they option, it's going to get adapted into a film, into a feature film. And Kaufman was hired to write it. And yeah, that's just, that's what the movie's about, is about him trying to adapt this book.
From the creator of Being John Malkovich comes the story about the creator of Being John Malkovich. Charlie Kaufman is a confused LA screenwriter, overwhelmed by feelings of inadequacy, sexual frustration, self-loathing, and by the screenwriting ambitions of his freeloading twin brother Donald. While struggling to adapt The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean, Kaufman's life spins from pathetic to bizarre. The lives of Kaufman, Orlean's book, become strangely intertwined as each one's search for passion collides with the others. Kaufman based Adaptation on his struggles to adapt Susan Orlean's 1998 nonfiction book, The Orchid Thief, while suffering from writer's block. It involves elements adapted from the book, plus fictitious elements, including Kaufman's twin brother, also credited as a writer for the film, and a romance between Orlean and John LaRoche, played by Chris Cooper. It culminates in completely invented elements, including versions of Orlean and LaRoche 3 years after the events of The Orchid Thief. Adaptation received widespread critical acclaim for its direction, screenplay, humor, and performances of Cage, Cooper, and Streep. It received awards at the 75th Academy Awards, 60th Golden Globes Awards, and 56th British Academy Film Awards, with Cooper winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor and Kaufman winning the BAFTA Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. A British Film Institute poll ranked it one of the 30 best films of the 2000s. What were you guys doing in 2002? In December of 2002? You guys are much older than me, so you were probably doing things more interesting than playing Pokemon Ruby.
I mean, I was in high school, so I mean, however interesting that is, I was probably just walking around. I felt like Charlie Kaufman in this movie in 2002. You know, I just really did not know how to fit in at school yet and figuring out things.
What about you, J-Boy?
Oh, I had just recently gotten out of high school. I was working at a Borders bookstore in the music and movies section. That's all I can really remember. I don't know. That was so long ago.
Damn, Borders music and book. That is a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Borders, you say?
What were you here in Arizona? Oh, tilting the bean can on that, but I just wonder because I was also going to Borders at the time, and like I loved walking around. I'm like, oh, I may have been walking through your store.
Yeah, I worked at the Borders that was on Alma School and the US 60.
Oh shit!
Which is no longer there, of course.
Yeah,
but it was a fun time. It was a good job for someone just out of high school, and you know, someone who is interested in music and movies and books. It was a retail job, so I did have to deal with the general public, and I think we all know how that be sometimes. But it was great. I got a lot of movies and music using my employee discount from there.
Yeah.
And overall, it was a great job. I got a lot of exercise. I got to keep up on the new releases that were coming out prior to the internet being super prevalent.
Yeah, that's right. I applied at Zia Records one time. They never called me. So
they're like, this guy doesn't seem like a burnout.
Very sad. So 2002, we have a guy in high school. We got a guy who just graduated high school, working at Borders. Did you guys see a trailer for this movie, Adaptation? When did you first become aware of Adaptation? Was it well after 2002?
For me, yeah, definitely well after. Like I remember seeing the poster. I kind of vaguely remember seeing a trailer for it, but like I don't know. I hadn't seen Being John Malkovich either. I wasn't super interested in movies when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I kind of was aware of it, and I do remember seeing trailers. You know, either on I'd watch Comedy Central a lot back then, and I think I do remember seeing a trailer of Adaptation, and picking up on the name Charlie Kaufman, and wanting to see it because of that. I really liked Being John Malkovich, and really was interested in seeing Adaptation because of that.
It seems like Being John Malkovich was like this big hit, right? So I would think that this, Adaptation, like, oh, they're working, because I'll say right now, until I looked this movie up and I was watching it, I was like, oh, Spike Jonze directed this. I didn't realize that. I don't know who I thought had directed in Adaptation, but I didn't think it was Spike Jonze. So seeing that was interesting, and obviously as we get into the movie, there are like connections to Being John Malkovich, but this probably was like something that was hyped up, but did it live up to the hype? We'll get into it. So you mentioned quite a few people in the cast here, Adam. Meryl Streep's in the cast. Meryl Streep's funny because we're concurrently reviewing a bunch of Harmony Korine movies, and Harmony Korine salaciously is known to have stolen from Meryl Streep's purse in the backstage of the David Letterman show offices backstage. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Meryl Streep, is that true? I've never heard of that.
Apparently, I mean, it's a whole thing where like Harmony Korine went on David Letterman. You'd have to look up those YouTube and like watch the clips. It's insane. Like he trolled Letterman every time he went on, or maybe did he? And they both kind of hated each other. And then it came to a head when he did Julian Donkey Boy in '99, and he went on to talk about Julian Donkey Boy. And you can see at the start of the show, he's like, "Yeah, we have Harmony Korine here today, and Meryl Streep." And they end the show. There's like, "Oh, he's he left in a huff. He's probably not coming back. We're moving on." But at the time, I guess David Letterman caught him in the backstage, just going through Meryl Streep's purse.
Oh,
and he's like, "Get out of here." And it was at the time when Harmony Korine was like downward spiraling. It was before he'd do a lot of drugs and disappear for several years. So he wasn't in a great place. But yeah, it's just funny that Meryl Streep's in this movie. It's funny that the connections I could make between our two auteurs recovering. But yeah, Meryl Streep. I was just thinking, like, who's the worst? Like, to have that story, what's a worse actor, actress, or creative person, celebrity? Who would be a worse person to steal from? Like Betty White? I don't.
Angela Lansbury, maybe.
Oh yeah.
One funny twist on it is later, because Harmony Korine gets asked about it a lot, and he's like, "No one ever asks what was in the purse." Now that's my question. I'm like, what was in the purse? What did Meryl Streep have in her purse?
Pills, baby.
He just stole a couple of tampons and some aspirin and her weed pen that was in there.
All alleged, but she does play a drug addict in this movie.
You're a desperate, lonely drug addict, lady.
How does this movie start, Adam? What are we looking at here? What kind of movie is this?
This movie, it starts with it starts with blackness, and then we just have like the credits kind of rolling there at the bottom, and you just start hearing Charlie Kaufman's monologue come in, and it's just just immediately we're set up with the what the hell is going on, because he's just talking about how awful he is, how he needs to start exercising. Even at one point is like, maybe I could learn Japanese, then I could be the screenwriter who knows Japanese. So I think immediately we're put in the head of somebody who's like full of anxiety. He's neurotic. And boom, we're on the set of Being John Malkovich, which I thought was, and like when I first saw this, like I hadn't seen Being John Malkovich, so I was like, oh, this must be that movie where everyone looks like John Malkovich at one point. Yeah, I love how, he's giving a speech there and he's like, shut up, everyone shut up. And we see Nicolas Cage, and it has like a documentary vibe to the opening of this, right? Like, like he's standing there and it has his little name come up, Charlie Kaufman, screenwriter.
Well, if you'll notice at the beginning of this movie, it even has Donald Kaufman as the co-writer in the official credits for Adaptation.
Yeah,
that was
I did notice that.
It was fun.
Which
I like. Go ahead.
A little like behind the scenes. When one of the producers was handed this script, he was like kind of mad. He was like, "What the fuck? We hired Charlie Kaufman. Who is this Donald Kaufman?" And yeah, I don't know. I just think that's great. Even like my wife watched it with me, and she was like, "Oh, he has a brother," and I just had to be like, "Oh yeah."
I love the opening. I do like the documentary feel because it's like the Grady, like digital video camera. And do you guys think that's real? Do you think that's real behind the scenes for Big John Malkovich or no? Because obviously the shot of Nicolas Cage isn't, but that's a different shot. And I don't know. I was just curious. It could be real. Doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's it seems very real. But I could totally see them recreating the whole set. I mean, maybe the set was still there from Being John Malkovich with the low ceilings. I think that's where it was when it showed that first shot of it. Maybe the set was still there and they did it afterwards. Who knows? It looks very real though.
They could have done it during production. This is Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman, right? I wouldn't discount that for sure, because they could have been like, well, we have this other idea for this other movie we're doing, and we should include elements from this movie. That's very intentionally done. Like, it's crazy how how well done that is. I had seen. Okay, so let's start. Let's back up a little bit real quick. Is this your first time seeing Adaptation for all of us? I don't think it is for either of you, right? You've both seen this already.
Dude, I think I've seen this like 5 times.
Sorry, yeah, I've seen this. I think I've seen it about twice. Once when it first came out, and then maybe, a year or so after that when I got the DVD. But I haven't seen it since 2005-ish, probably, I would say. So it's been a while.
And Adam, for you, it's been like 10 years, probably.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember 10 years ago, I was in a very dumb. I was being dumb. I was very sad all the time. And when I watched this movie, it like cut through all of that shit. Where I was just like briefly for the time, I was just like, oh my god, and like, and I'm not like rewatching it. There are times where I'm like, why did this movie have this huge effect on me? But it did, and yeah, like I'm very glad, very happy to rewatch it. Like I said the other night, I was just sitting there quietly weeping in my living room, just like, oh, this movie's so beautiful.
What part made you cry?
I mean, every time I watch it, like even like if I watch a movie like with anybody, like last night, my wife and I don't get into it as much, like I'm just sitting there the whole time, like, oh, how are they thinking? How are they thinking? But especially that part where Chris Cooper is describing how orchids are pollinated, like how bees, and the orchids, like they just kind of like will mirror, like the orchids will mirror a bee. So it was like wants to come down and make love to it and then carry that pollen away and do it again and do it again and do it again. I don't know. There's just something so, and I think that's like maybe part of this movie where it's like, life often does, we talk about this a lot. Life does feel meaningless a lot of the time, but I think if you just kind of just like follow, I don't want to say, that's going to sound like follow your heart, follow your, what you want and not really worry too much about, I don't know, like what other people think, what you even think necessarily with your self-doubt. You can find like there already is meaning in this world. Like it doesn't have to be imbued by some outside thing. It exists there already. God, I am so far up my own ass sometimes.
It's so beautiful.
It is a beautiful movie.
Yeah. I didn't cry though. I didn't drop tear this time. So I was just curious because you said that and I was like, well, what point? I guess there's a few when Donald. We'll get to it. So there's one idea I want to get into real quick. It's a collaborative activity. And it's going to be more collaborative this time because I'm not prepared. I like to do like a word cloud of the movie. And let me throw some words out there. Neurotic. So words that describe the movie or phrases. Do you guys have any?
Bald, fat.
Yeah. I mean, the movie is very meta. It references itself. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is a reference of itself, of a reference of something else. And it's also very inspirational at times too. Like just what Adam said, it's, there's some encouragement, even if you are fat and bald, to kind of live life and go for it sometimes,
Yeah, for sure. Transformative.
Let's not forget
transformative.
Let's not forget flowers. I think that is a big part of this movie.
Yeah, orchids. I
might not
remember,
mention it.
Oh, sorry, good. Sorry. I was just going to mention that, when this first came out, I don't remember giving a shit about orchids or flowers in general. And now I think orchid, since seeing it, I guess back in the early 2000s, I think orchids are beautiful and they're very unique. The scene that Adam described earlier with the bees pollinating the orchids and the orchids, trying to looking like the same bee that was on it was awesome.
Is that real or is that just for the movie?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I was like, that looks crazy. If that's real, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But
I'm sure that orchids do that, but as far as one looking exactly like that fucking bee that was on it, I don't know if that's real.
There's one other elements of flowers that I liked about the movie, and I'll mention it here because I probably won't remember to mention it. But at the end, there's a shot that I was like, well, it's kind of pedestrian, just a shot of like flowers coming up. It's cool. It's artistic, but I was like, it's a little pedestrian. But he does this thing where he's like, oh, it's not just that. It's going to be a time lapse of these flowers growing and days passing. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a good element. So
with the song
Bravo
Happy
to-
Together playing.
Yeah, I love that song. Yeah.
By the Turtles.
And
by the way,
so if we were to trust Google for a second, floral mimicry, yeah, some orchids like the Ophrys orchids mimic the appearance and scent of female bees to attract male bees for pseudo-ovulation, false mating. Which
it's based on something for sure.
Which is funny because like it seems like beautiful on one, it's like, oh, that's so beautiful, and on one side, but on the other, from the bee's perspective, it's like, well, I mean, you're getting duped, like
You're just getting ripped off. Yeah,
but I guess like in a way, like the bee still got his, right?
but that's the theme of the movie, right? It doesn't matter what it does. It's about what loves you. It's about what you love.
Damn, yeah, you just said it, man. Hell, we could just end the show right now.
We crack the code of the movie. Charlie Kaufman's agents are on their way. I don't remember this movie, Adam. I don't think I had watched this one with you, and if I did, I didn't do it attentively because I didn't remember this movie at all. I was like shocked that there were the John Malkovich parts in it. I was like, oh shit. I think that's really cool. I've not seen that done very often, where you can just incorporate your movie you just did into your current movie. Like the scenes of Catherine Keener or even John Cusack just giving him the cold shoulder is just like so funny. I was like, holy shit.
And what's cool about that scene, sorry, I just have to interject. Nicolas Cage wasn't available that day. So so when he gives him that look, that's actually Charlie Kaufman standing over there. And they were just which he was really nervous about. Like he was like, Spike, look, I don't want to be in this movie. Like, this better not be a trick photography, man.
I like that element a whole lot. I think that's cool. That's like what I'm going to remember from this movie is like, oh, they incorporated elements. I mean, in general, it's just like really interesting. So it's about adapting a book, which is a real book. I posted a photo of Susan Orlean in our chat. Susan Orlean's a real person, and when she was told about the screenplay, she was like, "No, this is going to ruin my career." But I was reading I don't know if you guys did much reading on this part, but she oh fuck. Oh no.
Well, yeah, she had to be like almost convinced to be like, no, trust us. This is going to work. This is good.
There it is. Yeah, so they said everyone agrees. So her first reaction was absolutely not. They had to get my permission, and I just said, no, you're kidding. It's going to ruin my career. Very wisely, they didn't really pressure me. They told me that everybody else had agreed, and I somehow got emboldened. It was certainly scary to see the movie for the first time. It took a while for me to get over the idea that I had been insane to agree to it, but I love the movie now. She one of her favorite performances by her calls Streep's, so she loves Streep's performance. I don't know, that's interesting. So obviously he's doing the John Malkovich thing, right? So he's not just doing it, because when I first read the byline, the summary of this movie, I was like, so they're doing John Malkovich but on himself. He's the star of the movie now. But it's also, doing a John Malkovich on Susan Orlean. Would you guys agree to something like this? I would, because that's just fun. But if you're like Susan Orlean, how do they get you to agree to this? To put it into perspective, I saw a Twitter post that was like, I can't imagine how does this movie exist? Because it's like he jerks off to the like book cover image of like the author photo of Susan Orlean played by Meryl Streep. It's just like so off the wall. Like that's so crazy. I can't imagine submitting that into a script and be like, we're doing this. Like imagine on this podcast, we had like a famous guest and we're like, we're going to do this really insane bit. Is that cool?
Yeah, I think like the biggest for me, it'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this. They'd be like, well, Tom Cruise is playing you. And I'd be like, okay, that's all I need to know. Like if people thought of Adam and then they saw Tom Cruise in their head, much like, if I think Susan Orlean, I think Meryl Streep. So, I mean, that's to me, I'm like, hey, that's good, right? I'd sign on with that. Now, if they were like, it's Jonah
For
Hill.
reference,
I don't know.
Adam is 6'3", and Tom Cruise is like 5'6".
It's a trick photography.
Let's talk about this movie. So Charlie Kaufman is the lead character. He has a brother, Donald Kaufman. And that's the interesting part. So we have a split personality. Why do you guys think he did Donald Kaufman? Why do you think that's a part of the script?
Well, if I were to venture a guess, I'd be like, yeah, like that's the part of Charlie that, like, that. Wait, what do I try? Like the more traditional screenwriter part of a writer of yourself. Because like if you're interested in writing, no matter how far out there you are, there's still like a need or a desire, whether it's false or not, to like adhere to traditional storytelling. Like you're like, well, I mean, you got to have setup and payoff. Like that's always in the back of your mind of like, oh yeah, I got to have a storyboard. It creates tension. I got to create tension. You know, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And yeah, maybe Donald is just another part of Charlie. You know, we all have overconfidence sometimes. We all have insecurities, and maybe Donald is just that side of Charlie written as a separate character for this movie.
That's one element of this movie that kind of touched me. That's one of the things that I like about this movie a lot is his relationship with his brother, Donald. Because, you know, at the beginning, he's very neurotic, and it turns into this very hateful relationship with Donald. So, like, everything about Donald, he's like, you're an idiot, stop talking, just leave me alone. And
Don't
you know,
say
his brother,
industry.
Yeah, exactly. Just everything he says is wrong, and he's always like, oh, I'm sorry. He's such a genuine guy. And that was really touching to me, like, you know, how that relationship plays out, but it is very like heart-wrenching at the beginning. And you know, his brother's living with him, staying with him temporarily or something. And he's like, hey, I'm going to be a screenwriter too. And then he goes to like this lecture. He goes to this like motivational speaker guy. It's like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do screenwriting. I want to talk about this for a minute. I know this comes like later in the movie and we're kind of all over the place, but it is the one note I took. At one point, Donald gives him a 10 Commandments from a man named Robert McKee. Robert McKee's 10 Commandments. Now, we don't have all of them. We have about 8 of them. Commandment number 1, thou shalt respect thine audience. Commandment number 2, thou shalt research. Number 3, thou shalt dramatize thine exposition. 4, thou shalt layer a subtext under every text. 5, thou shalt create complex characters rather than merely complicate the story. Thou shalt never use neither false mystery nor cheap surprise. Number 6. Number 7. Thou shalt not use Deus ex machina to get thine ending. Don't you dare use a Deus ex machina. That's funny. And then we have 8. Thou shalt not make life easy for thine protagonist. So this is very like structured, like, and they even get into this conversation because Donald fights back against, you know, Charlie's criticisms because he's like, there are no rules. What rules, you sons of bitches? And he's like, well, these aren't rules. They're more like guidelines, you know, things that have worked throughout history that you can follow. I thought that was an interesting just thought. Like, you know, that's the interesting thing about Charlie Kaufman's movies is he's this writer who's really neurotic, and he goes to places a lot of pop cinema people are not going to go to. I like that element a lot. Because yeah, there are no rules, but I don't know. What does that mean to you guys? What do you guys pull meaning from when they talk about that element of like whether you follow guideline or tradition or whether you're just like, no, fuck rules. What is that? Because I feel like I've always fallen into that second camp of being like, fuck, or that first camp, whatever, of being like, fuck the rules. But like,
well, I think
I don't know.
I think like when I first decided like I want to be a writer, I was obsessed with looking up things of like, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? What are the rules? Like literally, what are the rules for this and that? And it is tempting because like Charlie later on when he's at the McKee conference, he's like, you know, listing off why he hates it. And one of the things is like shortcutting your way to success. And I mean, when you're sitting there in front of a blank page, like a shortcut to success sounds amazing. And finding principles, I think is how Donald puts it. You know, if you hear, oh, these have worked and they'll continue to work for all of time, you're like, yeah. But I think it is helpful to have a bit of that fuck rules in your mind. The old saying, you know, you learn the rules so you can break it. You know, you got to break these rules because otherwise everyone's just making the same shit for a 10-year period, and then it fizzles out, as we've seen.
You're a creative guy, Jason. You've done creative things.
That's true.
What do you think about what do you think about all this?
Well, the writing rules in general, I think it's a great guideline if you're just trying to write. But yeah, during that scene when Donald tells Charlie that he's going to take a screenwriting course or seminar or whatever, I remember Charlie saying that those courses are bullshit. That writing should kind of be a journey into the unknown. It's not like building a model airplane. And I believe that's true as well. I mean, you should really fucking try to do something different, and the rules are not really rules, they're just kind of guidelines. So that's a good way to start if you're just starting writing, I suppose, but yeah, they're not really rules. They're just kind of,
yeah, and I think that's what he's grappling with in the movie, right? He's like, that's what the entire point of that is like there's a middle ground, and as the movie progresses, he finds that middle ground. He even finds a place to love this speaker. He invites him. He goes out with him to get a drink. So Charlie Kaufman's very egotistical. He's very up his own ass, basically. And it's an interesting scene because I felt that way about myself creatively. Is I don't really like my entire life. Like my creative pursuits started when I was in like a metal band in high school, and like I got kicked out because I didn't know what I was doing. And they're like, we're just gonna do all metal stuff, and I was like trying to do synth stuff. And so then I was like, I'm gonna do everything alone forever. And so I relate to Charlie Kaufman in this movie, and I think it's a very interesting scene when he reaches out for help to the guy he thinks is an idiot initially. So this movie's hard to talk about, folks, okay? You know, you try to be in my shoes, be in my seat, and talk about Adaptation, this weird-ass fucking movie. Do you guys like Chris Cooper in this movie? No teeth?
I love Chris Cooper in this movie, yeah. I think he almost represents another side of Kaufman. Like, he's also insecure. You know, as soon as Orlean, like when he picks her up and she gets in, she's like, good morning. And he's like, I just want to tell you this van's a piece of shit. You know, when I hit the jackpot and buy an awesome car. And yeah, there's constantly, you're seeing him like wrestle with his own insecurities, even though he thinks he's the smartest guy he knows. I'm sure Kaufman thinks he's the smartest guy he knows too.
Yeah, everyone probably does, right?
Probably what's interesting to me, all the people in this movie who aren't like riddled with anxiety, they all have jobs that maybe we would think are like, oh, well, that's not a creative job. You know, like Ron Livingston, his agent. You know, he's like clearly like he's very confident. You know, like I fucked her in the ass.
I fuck her in the ass.
Yeah,
yeah. Jesus Christ.
Like I think that says something about how like we look at. I don't know, we call them the bean counters, but you know, they're counting beans because that's what they feel confident in, and that confidence is like what makes them good at their job.
It's an interesting point. Adam, you go ahead and lead the plot for Plot Cells a little bit further. I'm fucked up, man. I'm fucked up. I don't know what to do.
No, it's fine. I mean, honestly, though, since you are giving me the reins, I would say let's loosely follow the plot. By that I mean just look at the Wikipedia. But honestly, like, yeah, like so much of this movie like turns back in on itself. Like there are parts at the beginning that then you see Charlie writing in the middle of the film. So I guess we could just get into it. And we've already covered the beginning. Like, you know, Kaufman is, you know,
he's pathetic. He can't talk to women at the diner, and he pictures them taking their top off, and he just has really awkward conversations. I felt really bad for him during all that.
Yeah, and
I did like.
Oh, sorry.
So, I was just gonna say I did like to. I did really like the intro after the Being John Malkovich scenes. It kind of starts with a flashback. 4 billion 40 years later or something like that. It's crazy. It's a crazy montage that reappears later in the movie, and I love that.
I agree.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Like just I don't think about that, but that's exact. Yeah. Like, you know, Los Angeles, California, 4 billion 40 years ago. It's like, oh shit. Like we're going back to the beginning, and it all culminates to Kaufman being birthed.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the
and actually
screenwriting.
It shows like a live human birth in that little montage too.
Yeah, it does.
And you know, the meteor that killed the dinosaurs, that fox decomposing from the 9 Inch Nails Hurt video.
Nice.
It's part of the story, right? Because he's like trying to develop the story. He's like, how do I start it? Well, we start at the very beginning. We go back to all the way back. So it's interesting. Like, it's very meta, right? The entire thing's meta. So we're seeing him develop the story in the movie. The movie is the story. Ouroboros. I don't know what that is.
I'm Ouroboros. And so, yeah, like and that's kind of where we were slowly moving there. You know, so we've covered, Kaufman is like, how did it all begin? Flashback. And then, bam, jumps to him sitting there in front of Valerie Thomas, who is a real person. Like, she is a real, you know, agent or procurer, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
And, like, you mentioned that, like, John Malkovich, in Being John Malkovich. I feel like I'm in that movie now, saying his name so many times. But,
Malkovich.
And then he does it with Valerie Thomas. He does it with himself. He does it with that, like his agent. That's really the name. Like that represents his real agent. Later on, McKee is also gets a treatment done. But yeah, like we get to know that Charlie is a guy who he rejects formulaic screenwriting, as we said, and he's dealing. You know, the movie he has writer's block. He cannot figure out how to write this, and we see him at one point on a date. What did you guys think about? I thought that date part was very upsetting for me because I felt like I've been there before, you know, where you're just sitting across from a woman that you're like, wow, she's beautiful and talented. And you're like, I have nothing to say. And like that bit where he's like, say something to her. And he's like, why did you bring me here? You know, I hate these type of things. I'm a bad.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. It was, you know, you obviously the audience, or maybe just me, I don't know, was like kiss this chick. She really wants to, like in the car. I think the car scene was after the date. But yeah, I definitely think she wanted him to kiss her, and he was just oblivious. It was pathetic to watch.
It's very cringe.
He's in his own head so much.
They're very cringe, as the kids might say.
Cringe.
Yeah, I think she was
bad.
like,
he's pathetic, man. And I like the ending when it loops back around to it, but she like stops hanging out with them. That's like a theme throughout the movie. Donald just keeps being like, hey, what's up with the lady? Did you put the moves on her yet? Hey, what happened to the lady? Yeah,
and so like from there, you know, we get more scenes of Charlie like struggling to write. However, Donald he started writing, and This is when I would hate to be in a house with another writer, because I feel like I suffer from writer's block. Maybe I've suffered from it for 10 years, but Donald is not suffering from it. He is, he is full steam ahead with his, he has this story. I love his idea for a story for a movie where it's like a cop and a serial killer and a victim, but they're all the same person. And, Charlie is like, there's no way to film this. Have you thought about that? And he's like, trick photography, which is happening in the movie we're watching. Like, Cage is talking and performing with himself. But yeah, like the whole Charlie or Donald, yeah, he's also doing all the things that Charlie isn't going to do. He's picked up the makeup lady on the set of Being John Malkovich, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I think she was like one of the first actresses I fell in love with after Drew Barrymore. When I saw her in I think Stranger Than Fiction, I was just like, wow, she's so beautiful and quirky.
Get bent, tax man.
He is pretty.
Sorry, I reverted back to childhood when I saw that Stranger Than Fiction trailer.
Yeah, and Donald actually rudely interrupts a dream that Charlie is having about Judy Greer. And her boobs are in it too, by the way, which is cool. But yeah, that's where Donald wakes Charlie up from his dream that I wanted to see more of, to tell him about this insane screenplay that is probably unfilmable.
God, and I think like the jerking off scenes like probably is why I was like ashamed to say it, but probably why I like first connected a lot with this movie. But like those scenes would happen, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know that. Like that desperate feeling where you're just like, oh, I'm so miserable, I'm gonna jerk off. Oh, look at that, I'm miserable again, I better get back to writing. I don't think that's a good writer's process. I don't think you should sit there and expend all that amount of creative energy and then be like, I'm gonna try to write now. Clearly it's it leaves you feeling, I don't know, like it leaves you feeling like what you're going to write is shit, or what you've written is shit,
I feel all this very succinctly as well. I haven't produced music since the mixtape I did for my family in like 2018 or 2019. So I feel the writer's block.
So I had a question. What do you guys...
Oh God, you go ahead.
What do you guys do? I don't know. I was thinking, like, what does this movie say about like adapting and reality for movies? Because, like I said earlier, like he includes a lot of real life people twisted into like fictional characters. John Malkovich, Susan Orlean, and Being John Malkovich. Charlie Sheen is in it, and he is like, is not the real Charlie. It's not the real Charlie Sheen. Like, but his name is Charlie Sheen. And then so there's this little quote from factualamerica.com where they say, Orlean's writing style is characterized by her ability to find fascinating stories and seemingly ordinary subjects. Her work often explores subcultures and niche topics, bringing them to life through vivid descriptions and engaging narratives. End quote. Do you guys think that this movie like adapts that well?
Yeah.
Given that little quote there.
I think it does, just because this is what I wanted to bring up. What is this movie about? It's about the Orchid Thief. It's a real book from 1998, nonfiction, based on Susan Orlean's investigation into the 1994 arrest of horticulturist John LaRoche and a group of Seminoles in South Florida for poaching rare orchids in the Fakahatchee Strand State Preserve. So the book is about that, right? It's about this very real arrest of this guy and, probably history, court trial of this guy who got arrested for basically stealing orchids from somewhere he shouldn't be doing in a preserve. And he tries to make this defense because he's like, I'm here with these Native Americans and there's this legal precedents. But the book, when Charlie Kaufman talks about it, he's like, it's not about that. It's about the things in between the book. It's about like these little thoughts she's having. And, the movie itself, Adaptation, is very much like that because it's about, Charlie Kaufman adapting The Orchid Thief, but it's not about that necessarily. It's about the stuff all around that, what we've already discussed so far. So I would say yes. with the exciting third act. It doesn't matter. It's all about the third act. Wow, in the end, you got a hit.
And when watching this with my wife, like, I don't know, I'm like, oh my God, she must be so bored. And I was like, don't worry, this movie's about to pick up. And I don't know, she very intuitively was like, why? Because Donald starts writing it. And I was like, damn, how'd you know? Because that's kind of how I interpret it, is like the last act of this movie was written by Donald. You know, because it's the car chase, it's the drugs, I think it's a lot of what the first time I saw it remembered about it was like the cool, crazy ending when the drugs come into play. You know, I love movies about drugs, folks.
The ghost orchid, it has a mind-altering effect, and that's why the Seminole natives are so into the ghost orchid, is they can manufacture a mind-altering drug out of it, and that's what Susan Orlean becomes addicted to in the movie, and she loves John LaRoche and has an affair with him. And Donald and Charlie Kaufman go and stake out what's going on with them. That leads to the crazy third act, which is that real? But what is real with this movie, right? Donald's not fucking real.
Right.
So
I think it's really interesting that you brought that up, Adam, that the third act was written by Donald, because I didn't think about that, but that totally makes sense.
I agree. That's why I'm bringing that up, because I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense that he wrote it, but he died.
And he doesn't exist. Yeah.
I think Meryl Streep is really cool for being in a movie like this. Just like, you know, John Malkovich was in his movie, because it's just, even though she's not being portrayed as like, she's still like a America's sweetheart kind of thing. And she's in this weird movie doing drugs, like snorting green powder and shit. She wants to be a baby. That's one thing I remember from this movie, from when we watched it like 10 years ago, or when I was around you watching it, was just I think because you quoted it all the time. She's like, I just want to be a baby. I want to be new.
I want to be new. Yeah.
I want to be new again.
Let's skip this. John LaRoche gets eaten by a fucking alligator.
That's a weird thing to say, but I get it.
John LaRoche gets eaten by an alligator.
Wow. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and like,
I don't know.
Obviously, like, you could, you know, the question, like, is this real? Well, John LaRoche is still alive, and Susan Orlean is not in prison for attempted murder.
That's true, right?
I wonder if the drug thing was real, though. I wonder if Susan got into those green powdery drugs that they were snorting.
I want to get into the green powdery drugs extracted from the ghost orchid. I was like, damn, that looks fun. I think that was like my first. That was my big connection with this movie when I first saw it, because that was when I was loving, and I still love psychedelics too. And I was just like, damn, can I go find this? Like, is this chat? Is this real? Can you bring me some?
Real? Chat, can I get high off of flowers?
I'm just out here grinding up fucking orchids I buy from Fry's. Like, come on.
I like this movie, folks. There's so much to talk about with this movie. We're already at over an hour. Jason, you have a big list over there. You got a clipboard. This guy's prepared. What do you have on there that we haven't talked about so far?
Well, I just wanted to mention Judy Greer again. There's a scene where
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, yeah, in that movie, in that scene where, you know, Donald wants to discuss his screenplay and wakes Charlie up from that dream. He instead of arguing with Donald about how shitty it is and how it can't be made, he ends up agreeing with their mother, apparently, and says it's very very astute and very taut. It's Sybil meets Dressed to Kill. So he didn't want to argue about it. Charlie didn't want to really take the time to explain to Donald why it's a bad idea or why it can't be made.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
I do like that scene. I just think his relationship with Donald is so sad. I was like, why are you so mean to your brother? You only get one. He's fake. He's not even real. He's being mean to his fake brother.
Even a line later when Charlie's like recording, talking in his voice recorder and gets interrupted because Donald comes in. He's like, McKee is a genius. And he's going on about it. And Charlie says something like, you and I share the same DNA. Is there anything more lonely than that? Which makes me almost want...
What'd you say, bro?
Which makes me almost wonder, 1999 Fight Club just came out. Does anyone think that Donald Kaufman doesn't exist in this movie? That's not really...
I think he exists in the movie. He obviously doesn't exist in real life, as far as I know. But in the movie, I think he exists. I don't think he's a Tyler Durden character or anything like that.
That's too complicated to think about. I don't think that's the case. That'd be too many layers. What did that even mean? I mean, it's the case he already doesn't exist. So yes and no.
Yeah, it just makes me, I don't know. Yeah, it just makes me wonder, because there is a possibility now. I'm just thinking about this now where, Maggie Gyllenhaal might not even exist. If Donald doesn't exist, that would mean that she also needs to be a figment of his imagination because she's also interacting with both of them. Like I said, yeah, I don't know. I've heard other people ask that question. I don't really think it's super important. It doesn't change the movie, but I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. It's fresh.
I did want to bring up some other cool third act things that happened that did make it a Hollywood movie. I liked that Charlie and Donald agreed to switch parts to spy on Susan Orlean, and then they ended up following her to fucking Florida. Oh yeah, and that LaRoche has a porn website that Susan's picture is on, and I guess Meryl Streep is topless in this movie too. I forgot about that.
Quote unquote topless, yes.
Yeah, that was definitely a fake photo, I think.
Yeah, it was really good 2002 pornography.
But yeah, I liked it a lot. I remember when I first saw it, I was a little disappointed because it wasn't being John Malkovich. But it's actually a great movie, and cerebrally, I guess, if that's a word, it's an even better movie than being John Malkovich. Yeah, I definitely would give it a heart if we're talking about Letterboxd ratings, and I would probably give it 4 stars. It's not amazing. It didn't blow my damn brains out, but it's a damn fucking good movie.
So you would recommend it?
I would probably recommend it. Yeah, not to everybody. It's a lot, but I would recommend it for sure to like-minded movie watchers.
Thank you. Adam, would you recommend Adaptation?
I'm going to give it a big recommend. Even though I watched this, I think the second time with my family, and my parents they were not into it. I was like, oh, poor. I hate when I make people suffer through things like this. I would just rather be like, yeah, let's just turn it off. We could watch Tombstone. No hate on Tombstone, but I really thought that I thought this movie was fresh. Just watching a movie about a writer struggle to write, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. You got me in. And I think it's interesting to have Kaufman or the Charlie character because is he likable in this movie? And Kaufman once said, I don't think in those terms. I tend to never care if a character's likable. It doesn't interest me as an idea. And that just makes me think of all of his films where it's like, yeah, this main character is not likable. He's kind of a piece of shit. And, why not see more films like that have characters who are, they're real, they're humans. Most humans are, multifaceted. We're awful depending on the situation. And I think this movie is a really good exploration into that. And if you have self-doubt, neuroses, if you hate yourself, if you think you suck at whatever creative venture you're doing, I think you'll resonate with this movie. And if you don't, you could still resonate with this movie because you see how that you kind of have to get somebody in there who's following the rules a little bit to wow them in the end. So, a big old heart for me. I'm going to say 6 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
Hey there, friends and family. This is Dan. I'm here at the Dan and Adam Are Afraid podcast. Do I recommend 2002's Adaptation, directed by Spike Jonze and written by Charlie Kaufman? I do, with the caveat that it's a little boring for an hour until the third act. So if you're like a normie viewer, if you're Adam's parents, you might not have the best time with this movie, but it might win you over in the third act. It's got Nicolas Cage. It's got Meryl Streep. It's got normie actors, technically, kind of. It is an interesting movie. I am glad we talked about it on the podcast. That said, this movie's kind of hard to talk about. I just watched it this morning. If you can tell, folks, I'm not very structured on this. I just finished this before we started recording, so I was behind. I was behind on this one, guys. I think it is a very interesting meditation on the creative process, and obviously in particular of adapting something. I do think it's a movie that you can revisit when maybe you're working on something just to kind of get ideas. Like there is a catharsis at the end where he goes and talks to Brian Cox's character playing whatever motivational speaker guy. And you're just like, okay, so it's this easy. You just got to do this. He's like, you promise? It's like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just make sure you cut it down, and I don't know, whatever he says to him. He's like, just make sure the third act's good, and don't you dare use a Deus Ex Machina. Now, we didn't mention it. People will be pissed we didn't mention it. A Deus Ex Machina happens, right? The alligator attacking John LaRoche's character and saving Charlie Kaufman's life, technically, though killing Donald. So that's funny. Don't you dare use a goddamn Deus Ex Machina. What does he have against Deus Ex Machina? Anyway. I don't know what score I'd give this, so I'm just not going to, but it's good. Check it out.
I did like how he kissed the girl that he didn't kiss earlier at the end. And, they both told each other that they loved each other, which was nice. And it ends on a good note. I mean, Charlie's full of hope at the end.
It ends on a complicated note. He's so pathetic. He's like, oh, just because this girl said she's like, yeah, I love you, but I'm with someone. He's like, I'm full of hope that the future is not horrible.
I'm a fool.
Also, I want to just...
I'm a fool for not mentioning this. Chris Cooper won an Academy Award for this movie, Best Supporting Actor. He's John LaRoche.
That's awesome. If you want to join the show, come on. You could probably do more research than we do. Make the show even better.
I did write down the after. Did anyone say until after the credits?
No.
No. There's not an after credits scene, but there is a quote from Donald's movie The Three at the end, which was interesting.
Do you have that quote?
I do. I'm going to read it right now. So yeah, this is a quote from Cassie from the movie The Three, written by Donald Kaufman. The quote is, "We're all one thing, Lieutenant. That's what I've come to realize, like cells in a body. Except we can't see the body. The way fish can't see the ocean. And so we envy each other, hurt each other, hate each other. How silly is that? A heart cell hitting a lung cell." Yeah. Donald Kaufman.
Damn. That's pretty sick.
That's deep.
We'll leave it on that. That's the most thoughtful thing we're going to say today outside of the thing about the flower earlier. So there you go.
Beautiful.
Check it out,
orchids.
folks. Adam, did you pick a movie? Or did I pick a movie for next week? Holy shit, it's my turn.
You son of a bitch.
Folks, next week, we are going to be watching... Next week, folks, we're going to be watching Circus Maximus from 2023. It is a American musical anthology film co-written and executively produced and directed by Travis Scott. It is Scott's directorial debut, Travis Scott the Rapper. It includes segments in the anthology directed by Gaspar Noé, Nicholas Winding Refn, Harmony Korine, Valdemar Johansson, Andrew Dosunmu, Canada, and Khalil Joseph. So we're going to be watching a visual companion to Travis Scott's 2023 album, Utopia, that has a bunch of cool directors attached to it doing music videos, basically. So it's not going to be the biggest thing to talk about. There's probably not going to be very much plot to talk about next week. So that said, we're going to talk about some Harmony Korine short films as well, and I'll be posting those up. Everything's going to be on YouTube. So,
ooh, Tizo Touchdown is in this movie. I like that guy.
We're almost there. We're almost to Baby Invasion.
Baby Invasion.
Jason, are you going to be on the Baby Invasion podcast?
Man, I don't know that. I'm not a huge Korean head, as they say, but I could talk about it. I could talk about what a weird experience it was. But yeah, it might be better for a huge Korean head, maybe.
We're definitely going to have one huge Korean head, and we're going to have me, Adam, and another guy for sure. So we already got one guest. Just wondering, just feeling the water.
I watched it. I felt something from it.
I want like 10 guests on this episode, so we need to get the haters on there too.
I'm not a hater. I
might be doing
it. It was just it's different. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a movie with a plot and stuff like that. It's different.
It's weird for sure. And yeah, we're gonna have wrestling intros for everyone on the episode. So yeah.
Well.
We'll get to it. It's coming. But for now, Circus Maximus. We're almost at the end of our Harmony Korine journey. If Jason doesn't know this, but we've been covering every single Harmony Korine movie. We did Kids. We did we did Kids. We did Gummo. We did Julian Donkey Boy. We did Mr. Lonely. We did Spring Breakers, Trash Humpers. We just did Beach Bum. And now we're doing 2 more, and we're at the end of our journey. So it's been a long time coming.
Nice.
Over a year, probably.
I am a fan of Kids, even though it's rough to watch, and Spring Breakers is really good. But I'm pretty, not experienced with a lot of his movies.
It's fine. It's fine. And all kinds can watch Baby Invasion. They have.
My grandma would love it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, we should bring the grandparents in. So that's it, folks. We want to say thank you to Jason for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming on and enlightening us with some words. You brought some thoughtful thoughts and statements to the show. Is there anywhere we can find you? Is there anything you want to plug that we can include a link to for people to check out?
No, not really. I haven't really done anything for a couple of years. Nothing to plug. But
you got a Letterboxd?
I do have a Letterboxd, yeah. I'm not sure what my name is on there though. It's either Deathbot or JBKR. But yeah, I mean, I like reading funny reviews on Letterboxd. I like Letterboxd in general, just to see what other people are watching and what people think of new movies and things like that. Yeah, you can follow me on there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun. There's a lot to say about this movie, but it's not really something that seems like a lot of it can be talked about. There's a lot going on. I would just say watch it. Just watch this movie.
I agree. It's a tough one. It's a battlefield out here trying to talk about Charlie Kaufman's fucking meta epic, because I don't think he ever gets this meta again. So. What do you think, Adam? Does he ever get this meta again?
No, because you think of Synecdoche, and it as wild as it is, it's still kind of a straightforward film.
Yeah, Charlie Kaufman doesn't break the fourth wall. He's like, oh, here's me and my brother. Anyway, do you guys have any parting thoughtful words for our beautiful listeners that have gone over an hour listening to us?
You guys are beautiful.
Yeah! Woo! Invest in gold bars. Invest in gold. Get as many gold bars as you can, and then bury them under your bathtub. As I'm saying this, forget I'm saying it, but then do it. Build a hidden safe, like contraption, under your bathtub. Fill it up with gold bars. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone your secret code or your password. You lock it up. When you take a bath at night, you'll be sitting on a financial safety net. I am talking to you robotic, so then it goes into your mind digital. 01010110. I don't know. You'll be sitting on a gold bar.
All right, bye. Later, bro.